Hi, I thought I'd just tune in after the small ASMR section to talk a little bit about what I'm doing. So, as you've probably already read in the title, I'm drawing my January favorites, and I thought it was a fun way to reflect the month and realize all the things that I'm grateful for, and also by drawing them, spend a little more time with them. It is something I hope starting to do every month from now, at least for this year. It'll be my own personal challenge. I inked this with the Deleter ink and the Windsor and Newton Series 7 size 3 brush in my canson sketchbook. I realized how hard it has gotten to draw for me on such a small size, especially with a brush. I feel like I need way more room to move my arm and get the detail in. I actually do own an A4 sketchbook that I haven't used in ages, and it's not filled up at all. But I kind of want to finish this one first because I'm afraid that I'm going to abandon it completely if I won't power through. And also, this is the first sketchbook that really got me into traditional art again within like the last 2 years. Also, I feel like I need to say that I think this sketchbook page doesn't really meet my expectations. I think I'm capable of doing better. But this was purely meant for fun, and especially when drawing in my sketchbook, I need to remind myself to loosen up and have more fun with it, because I tend to be a perfectionist regarding that matter. I get really stuck up with my line work. Although sticking to my preferred medium, I still tried something new with the shading, which was actually inspired by tattoo artists when they turn to traditional art and do these giant watercolor paintings. They get this really smooth shading in there. And I tried it by watering the ink down, which I'm not really confident in. I really like just stale black and white shapes. And gradients is not my strong suit, as well as color. And I really struggled to achieve a smooth gradient. I don't think there's any smooth gradients in there. So my first January favorite is this book called The Southern Bookclub's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. It's a fairly new book. I think it's from 2021. And I absolutely love this book. It's the first time I really enjoyed reading in a while. And I'm going to tell you a little bit what it's about. It is set in the 90s, and it is about a southern woman named Patricia who is trying her best to fulfill her duty as a housewife. But she feels increasingly disconnected from her family, and the only escape for her is the book club that she's in with a few other women who become her friends and who face the same problems. And in this book club they don't read the books that they are expected to read, but they read these true crime books about all these famous killers. And someday a new guy moves into the neighborhood and strange things start to happen, resembling the topics that the women read about in their book club. It is a horror story, so if you're into that, I highly recommend it. The peaches that I am drawing are the illustration on the book cover, which is absolutely stunning, and honestly was the part that convinced me into getting this book. Next up we have something that I talked about in the last video and I will probably be talking about in the future. And it's the Windsor & Newton Series 7 size 3 brush that, as I mentioned, I'm using also in this video. I love this brush, I think it's perfect. But using a brush still puts a lot of pressure on my shoulders that I'm still trying to lift. But this is only going to happen with a lot more practice, which I'm doing right now.
Looking at you, kid. Come on, let's shag ass.
I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
In the third spot we have my favorite show of all time, and that is That 70s Show. I haven't been able to watch this show since they decided to take it off Netflix about 2 years ago. Except the German dub on television, which is unbearably annoying, to be honest. But the happier I was when I got gifted the first season on Christmas, and that's what I've been binging all throughout this month. What I love about the show is that it seems so realistically staged. And what I mean by that is that it's obvious that it is a show and it's fake dialogues, which are also part of the charm. But at the same time, all of these actors seem to have this real connection that seems so genuine, like they are having the time of their life. If you are a fan of the show, you've probably heard of the That 90s Show spin-off, which I actually watched with very low expectations. I was not excited at all. At first I didn't even want to watch it, but hear me out. Although I did not like the characters and the actors didn't merge as well with their characters as they did in the original, they didn't have that connection. And the jokes were very dull and the dialogues overall pretty stale, I still, for some reason, ended up enjoying it and feeling excited for a second season. The next motif is Gene Simmons' tongue with the Kiss logo on it. Gene Simmons is the bassist of the band Kiss, and the sticking the tongue out is trademark. And I really got into Kiss the past months, and I've been listening to the Dynamite record non-stop. And I think their music is just fun and pretty good. So I got tickets to see them in Berlin in June on their End of the Road tour, which is announced to be their final tour. And although this tour has started back in 2019, so this might be the last chance to see them, so I took it. And I know that Kiss is a band that gets a lot of shit, and whether you like them or not, you have to recognize the impact that they've had and still have on rock and metal music till this day. Last but not least, we have Just Plain Tea. I love tea. It's not that exciting, but I've been drinking my green tea every morning. It's helping me to wake up. I really got back into loving Earl Grey and chai tea again. I'm not that much of a fruit tea person. Also, I am now, at 23 years old, the proud owner of an entire tea set, which makes me feel very British, but also very old. So now I'm just adding some highlights at the end, just to lighten the motifs up and sharpen the edges. I think it really helps because when I went in with the ink for the first time, I was really scared because it looked so dark, but when it dried up, it lightened up also. And the areas that turned out too dark were easily fixable with the acrylic ink. This is the final product. These are my 5 favorites of January. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed hearing me talk about my favorite things of the month. If you'd like to, you could comment your favorite thing so we could all share favorite things together and check out each other's favorites. And I will hopefully see you until the next one. Bye!